Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. It's your boy, World of Wrestling. Here today to discuss about AEW Dynamite, January 29th, 2025 review. This show sucked. I mean, it fucking sucked royally. Empty show with pretty much nothing really important that happened. And, I really have nothing to say about this show. This was a very mindless, boring, unentertaining show that I have been a part of. And these shows are pretty much rinse and repeat of the same old shit, with a few stories here and there that are being told. I honestly don't see any reason for anyone to tune in for AEW Dynamite on a week-to-week basis. I had someone come on here last week on a Dynamite review that I did and criticize me, giving me pretty much a small book, writing that, this is a young kid, he's going ahead and trying to make something out of himself on YouTube, and he's like, I'll give him a shot, see what he's like. And then he says, after watching 5 minutes of your content, I thought it absolutely sucked, and he just rambled on and on and on and on. Because I wasn't praising AEW. I was being biased and full of hatred and anger towards the product. My response to you, sir, is, one, why are you wasting your time writing out a fucking essay to me? Which I've already mentioned. In commenting back to him. As I say, I always comment to you guys anytime you want to say something to me, have a critique, whatever it might be. But this critique was just... I looked at his channel to see what he's interested... He's a New Japan Pro Wrestling fan. And don't get me wrong, I love New Japan Pro Wrestling. I think that their product is an entertaining product. But they're not on week to week. You don't have to follow them every fucking week on a televised show that's supposed to give you some storyline. It's very simplistic, straight to the point, hard-hitting, no holds barred, in-your-face, strong style type work. If AEW wanted to do that, that would be fine. They're trying to be a week-to-week show. If you watch TNA, you'll see there is actual stories being told. It's not just matches occurring and people doing flips and dives all the time. I mean, they do have that content on there, but they also have stories being told to help build and hype up pay-per-views or televised pay-per-views that they have on TNA Plus, and they legitimately actually give you a story. I'll give you a prime example. Joe Henry. For the last 6 months, they've been trying to tell a story about his journey to winning his first ever world championship. He just did that this past, I think it was the 19th of January, so almost 2 weeks ago. The man went ahead and he captured his first ever world title. He's been with the company, I think, for like 3-4 years. And nobody believed in him. He started a slogan, Believe in Joe Hendry. And he built a reputation. And he grew his fan base based on the character development that they did with him. He became a star in that company. LA Knight, formerly known as Eli Drake, was a beloved character on that show. People actually enjoyed his content. He was a fucking face of TNA. Dolph Ziggler, now known as Nick Nemeth, was a face for that company as world champion for almost a year. He became champion in Slammiversary and held it all the way up to Genesis in January. The company is building stars. Now, granted, Dolph Ziggler was not technically a star. Technically, in WWE, he should have been a star. Truthfully, he's, to me, a modern day version of Shawn Michaels. The way he just moves and works in the ring, it just reminds me of Shawn Michaels all around. I mean, you just have so much great talent on TNA. I'm using TNA as an example because if TNA had the platform that AEW has, they'd be popular again. People would enjoy their content. They just have no fucking platform for people to get behind or sit back and enjoy their product. I feel bad for TNA. I personally feel like TNA is the second promotion, the second best promotion in the United States of America, because they legitimately build stories. AEW don't do any of that. You watch this entire show tonight, match after match after match after match, with a little tad of story. That's it. Nothing else. Our main event tonight was Mercedes Moné and a Japanese wrestler? Who the fuck cares? Did anyone think that she even had a legitimate shot? I don't even care. Look at Gunther and Jey Uso. You knew Jey Uso was gonna lose. You did. It was an obvious thing. But they still built him up in a sense that he could possibly win. There was people that thought maybe they'd fucking blow our minds and give the belt to Jey Uso to have and then lose it at some point before WrestleMania so Gunther could defend the title at WrestleMania. We still could get that moment happening. I already talked about that last night for Raw's review. There's still a possibility Jey Uso could even win the fucking Royal Rumble. He has a legitimate reason. And it would make sense for him to win to go on to face Gunther in a rematch. You look at his story, he's a guy that has not won the world title yet. He is thriving, wanting and craving to become world champion. He's had multiple opportunities. He's fallen short. You have a story there. The same type of story that you had with Joe Hendry. People want to talk. I wouldn't be surprised somebody comes on here and go, well, what about Jeff Jarrett? What about Jeff Jarrett? Jeff Jarrett is an old-timer. The guy should be working with the young kids behind closed doors. Not being on television, having a top priority story about an old geezer who has no fucking reason to be in AEW at all. His primary popularity came from being in TNA, and that's because he owned the fucking promotion. He had multiple reigns as champion in TNA under the NWA umbrella. So, in all honesty, guys, I don't know what the fuck this company is thinking using Jeff Jarrett as a guy to go with and say, let's use him to go ahead and build a real strong story about him trying to beat Jon Moxley for the World Championship. He lost tonight to Claudio Castagnoli. And we got a story with MJ, one of the biggest faces in the fucking promotion, the only one that gives you that feeling, is doing a story with an old-timer like Jeff Jarrett. I don't. And the thing is, it's not even because Jeff Jarrett's an old-timer. There's no story that was built up with him leading into this year. Did we get anything from 2024? No. All we got was he was in the Owen Hart tournament. Wow. He was in the Owen Hart tournament. Big fucking whoop-de-doo. And then he had a beloved love for wrestling again. They used that fucking excuse tonight as the reason for him wanting to go after the world championship one last time. What a fucking weak story. There is no, if you had the intentions or desire to actually push a man like Jeff Jarrett, you do what you did with Sting. Sting was on television week after week after week majority of the times, doing stuff with Darby Allin, winning the tag team titles, building a story around his retirement, and actually legitimately gave us a reason to say, he won. It's okay. I didn't feel insulted. I didn't feel like they did anything wrong there because there was consistency of a story under Sting's name. That is not the same thing we were getting with Jeff Jarrett. We did not see him, thrive to want to go after the world title, win series of matches, and do all this shit. He just one day showed up, said, I'm thinking about retirement, fucking with us all and making us hope and pray that he is, because there's no need for him to be on AEW. He's done it all in his career. He's won multiple WCW championships. He's won multiple NWA/TNA championship runs in his own promotion. He was a multi-time Intercontinental Champion in WWE. The only thing missing from him in that promotion is a WWF Championship run. That's the only thing he missed. He won Tag Team Gold there. He did all of that there. I even believe he won the European Championship. The only title he never won there was a world title. I honestly don't think that's very bad, because he was able to go to the other side of the other competition. And even with Hulk Hogan there and all that other shit going on, he still managed to wiggle his way into having multiple reigns as WCW champion. Now, granted, the reigns weren't great, but at least they were fucking reigns. At least he did something. He was a top priority in WCW through that 2000 run. Him, Diamond Dallas Page, Kevin Nash, Goldberg, those guys were the fucking focal point of that entire promotion. Oh yeah, and Booker T. You can't forget about him in 2000. Those guys, if they didn't have that, they would have been out of business before 2001. Guarantee you. But Jeff Jarrett is not someone you need to put your focus and hard work behind to tell a story. Then let's jump over to Will Ospreay, who kick-started the night with Brian Cage. Good match, not bad. Good televised opener to the show. And we got Kenny Omega, who was attacked backstage before the match started. Then he shows up, he goes ahead and he makes the save, yada, yada, yada. This story, I will say, is not terrible, but it's a rinse and repeat. We're going back to the story we already concluded and restarting it back up again. And to me, that just seems like a lack of creativity and ability to be able to branch out to different stories, to different things. And we ain't getting that from this promotion. Adam Cole and MJF, another prime example. They ended the Adam Cole MJF storyline at World's End, and we have not seen Adam Cole on Dynamite. I don't give a fuck. They showed him doing something on Collision. I don't give a shit what he does on Collision. Nobody fucking watches Collision. Let me take a look at what last week's ratings were for Collision. I guarantee it's at least like 200,000 people. Let me just check this out real quick. AEW Collision ratings. This shit ought to be funny as hell. The ratings between Collision and Saturday night's main event. Oh my gosh. Should be night and day, man. Night and fucking day. So Saturday night's main event got 1,494,000 people. That's not great. in my own personal opinion. Um, Now let's see here. Collision is on TNT and they get 250,000 viewers. 250,000 viewers. That is sad. That really is pathetic. Wow. I mean, granted, the rating for Saturday night's main event wasn't great either. I don't think wrestling thrives on Saturday nights. There's so much going on Saturdays. You got boxing, you got UFC events that take place. The only thing that's worth watching during Saturday nights for wrestling is the pay-per-view events that they conduct, and that's about it. People going ahead and tuning in for Saturday night's main event, I can understand why the ratings have dipped. I think maybe they need to take a break from that unless they have a big major stories that are being built for this. I mean, they're running this event a week before the Royal Rumble, so at the end of the day, it made sense that the ratings kind of dipped and whatnot. But it only dropped about 6%. That's actually it's they said the 21% drop from the previous Saturday night's main event demo rating. So I mean, overall viewership was 6% dip, but the demo was actually 21% drop. So that is kind of a negative, I would say, but fucking TNA gets more. I think Let me look up TNA Impact ratings. TNA Impact ratings. They're on Access, and I think they at least get 200,000 viewers a fucking week on their show. Now, granted, now you can watch it on TNA Plus, so you don't even have to waste your time sitting there on television. You actually can watch it, live. Oh my goodness gracious. Hold on. TNA, let me just tell you guys something. TNA back in June of 2024 only had 92,000 viewers. I don't have anything more recently for their ratings. Uh, so I mean their ratings have gone down. Their ratings aren't great, but they're on Access, and they got almost 100,000 people watching the content on a weekly basis. And they're not even on a premier television station yet. Collision is on fucking TNT and they got only 250,000 viewers and they're backed up with billions of dollars by Tony Khan fucking on a great platform like Turner Television. I mean, come on. You got to be freaking kidding me. I honestly think it's pretty pathetic and sad that they are that sad for a Collision show. Really. And their fucking ratings for Dynamite keep dipping further and further into the toilet to the level of like NXT, and NXT is a developmental system. People are tuning in as much for them as they are for AEW Dynamite. That's pathetic, honestly. If you guys are hearing anything in the background, that's actually my wife. She's watching something on Netflix. So I do apologize about that. So give me 1 second. I'm going to try moving into another location. Basically, at the end of the day, guys, what I'm talking about here is that AEW is just, it's a very bland show. I feel like they're trying to be New Japan Pro Wrestling in the United States. And like I said before earlier in this video, I said that would be fine if they didn't have a weekly televised show that's supposed to give us actual story building week to week to get us hyped up for a pay-per-view. If they were strictly about pro wrestling, they wouldn't be week to week. You can't expect people to get excited and want to watch your product week to week if all you're giving them is pro wrestling matches that don't do anything. If you want to do that kind of concept, like being like a UFC in a wrestling realm type industry, you do it the New Japan Pro Wrestling way. They do every couple of weeks, they'll have a major event or have a series of matches that help push people in different rankings and stuff, and they actually have a ranking system legitimately. And all these things they had in AEW, they originally started. Records mattered, all that stuff, the wins and losses mattered, all those things. And they were implemented on the show. They don't do that anymore. There is no ranking system. Yeah, the records show there, but they don't follow any serious ranking system. They don't follow any records. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, get the hell out of here with that nonsense. There is no way you're going to tell me that they do that. They don't follow that. And that's why this product sucks. Jon Moxley went ahead and he basically stated the truth. AEW is Jon Moxley. The world title is him. And that's the truth. Jon Moxley has won the world title more times than anyone in AEW of all time in that company's history. And to be quite frank with you, it's sad that they have to rely heavily on Jon Moxley to tell a story. The story sucks. The story doesn't even have a fucking point to it. He wants to build more Jon Moxleys like himself. He basically said in his promo tonight that everyone is actually a champion within themselves. That's what he's trying to build. Real champions. People that will grind and fight and be warriors, basically, in that sense. And strive even to die to win in a match. I liked it. I will give Jon Moxley that. He was interviewed by his wife. And I did like the content he delivered there. But where is the end of the tunnel? What are we building towards here? What is the whole point? Is this an AEW takeover, or is this trying to make AEW a better place again? Kenny Omega is doing that same thing, trying to get that feeling back, is what he keeps claiming. I don't know what feeling we're talking about here. Are we talking about flips and dives and people having 5-star matches, or are we talking about legitimate stories that get to people's skin or makes people tune in or feel connected with the characters on the show? That is my question. That's what's missing on this show. Kenny Omega played a great heel. He was a title collector. He went to different promotions and won them all. Went to TNA, won titles there. He won the AEW World Championship. He got people pissed when he screwed Jon Moxley out of the world title. I mean, granted, that rematch they had at Revolution in 2021 was a travesty of all fucking travesties. But other than that, Kenny Omega was fucking fantastic at what he did. I loved what he had to offer here, and it was good content and good work by him as the world champion at that time. And then they gave the title up to Hangman Page, who ran with a story that actually legitimately meant something. He went through trials and tribulations. He went through an alcohol problem. He went ahead and lost his best friends over what was going on with him psychologically. He went through depression. They utilize depression to make you feel something with Hangman Page. Where the fuck is that? You got Hangman Page walking backstage, I think looking for Swerve Strickland tonight. Why? MJF pretty much was like, what the fuck is this shit? I mean, this show is god awful. You got a match with Wheeler Yuta and Jay White. Jay White should be able to smash and bash the shit out of Wheeler Yuta and end his fucking ass. And we got almost a 15-minute match? Really? Wow. I'm lost of words, honestly. Ricochet faced AR Fox. AR Fox, 2 weeks in a row, has been getting televised shows. Televised matches. Losing to people. Jobbing out. Lost in less than 5 seconds to... Or not 5 seconds. I'd say less than a minute. About 30 seconds. He lost to Hangman Page. But Ricochet couldn't beat him in less than 5 minutes. We got like almost a 10-minute match. Where the fuck is the consistency here? Hangman Page can do that to AR Fox, but Ricochet can't. I don't get it. But hey, to each his own, I guess. I don't know. Claudio Castagnoli beat Jeff Jarrett. That was one of the other matches I mentioned. Chris Jericho had a moment tonight. Every fucking week he's got the New York Minute. I really am fed up of him. I do not care to see him on television. I don't even want to see him for 5 seconds. For 5 seconds. I don't even want to see him for 5 seconds. I don't care what they have Chris Jericho doing. He is unimportant. He is not enjoyable to watch anymore. They have made him absolutely horrendous. And after the end of his segment, which I barely paid attention to, I'm not going to go back and reiterate the same fucking verbiage that he said. He waved to the camera, saying, "Bye, guys," and then had a disgusted look on his face. And I think that was legit. I don't think that was a work. I think that was a shoot. He probably himself can't stand the fucking character he's playing as well. I really don't think he cares or feels this character at all. It's all sarcasm. It's not legitimate, genuine work from him. He's just following a role, not enjoying doing it at all. I honestly believe, I clearly see him not enjoying what he's doing. Based on facial expressions, the way he's trying, he doesn't even look like he's trying. Get him off television. He's Ring of Honor World Champion. Put him on Ring of Honor. Let him do stuff there. No one will fucking know who he is or where he's from. Well, people will know who he is, but no one will watch him because nobody watches Ring of Honor. Unless you have the Ring of Honor Plus or Honor, whatever the fuck they call it. Honor Club. If you're part of the Honor Club, then you'll get to see him wrestle in front of fucking a few hundred people. Like, who cares? In all honesty. I don't care to see Chris Jericho do jack shit nothing on this fucking show. I think he is an absolute fucking waste of time. Daniel Garcia. He is getting... he is getting a shot, or defending his title, against Kyle O'Reilly and Lee Moriarty, who is a Ring of Honor champion of some sort. I don't know if he's 6-man tag team champion, whatever the fuck he is. Doesn't really matter. He's getting a TNT championship shot in a triple threat match. I don't care. Danny Garcia is not on Dynamite. I don't give a shit. Daniel Garcia and Jack Perry, a story that was supposed to be built out of Daniel Garcia going ahead and getting his first run as a champion on this show, and he has not been shown on Dynamite not one fucking time after that. He's now dancing and strutting around again with the championship. I think it's horrendous. I think it's absolutely fucking terrible booking. I don't like it. Claudio Castagnoli and Jeff Jarrett's match ended, by the way, and after that match was over, we had MJF come out there with a microphone starting to say something other than Jeff Jarrett before simply laying him out with the Dynamite Diamond Ring. MJF says he respects his elders, and that's why he's not going to say, "I told you so." And then he drops the microphone over the fallen Jeff Jarrett and making his way back up the ramp as Jeff comes to. Great stuff. Great stuff. Wonderful stuff. Wow. You're fucking oozing with creativity there. The fuck out of here. This is such shit. No, who the fuck actually thinks this is good content at all? And if you do, you need to get your head examined. This is shit. Lackluster, uncreative, don't give a shit type of creativity. I honestly do not give a shit. So after that match, backstage, Renee tells Ricochet that any interference from Swerve Strickland during the match against AR Fox will result in a Strickland-Ricochet match in Atlanta being forfeited. Something Ricochet seems quite pleased to hear before saying he'll address things further this Saturday on Collision. I'm sure no one will be watching. About 200,000 people will be watching, and that's about it. We get to the Ricochet AR Fox match. We already discussed that. I'm not going to rediscuss it all over again. There ain't no point in me doing that. But yeah. I don't know, man. I'm not going through all this shit to do this fucking review. I'm just expressing my opinions, going over some of the things that occurred and what came off the top of my head that I remember from this show, because I'm not going to sit through and spend all this time discussing the entire show. This show is not worth that. And it's because of the lack of creativity and lack of care. And if somebody wants to come on here like the last person from last week, go ahead. Say what you want. Say I'm an AEW hater. I don't give a shit. I don't ride the coattails of fucking WWE because for a very long time, if you look at my content, I didn't even do reviews on WWE content back when Vince McMahon was running it on a consistent basis. I didn't even watch the fucking show. I watched AEW Dynamite at all times on Wednesday nights, and that's all I watched. I did review NXT until they went ahead and changed to NXT 2.0. When the pandemic hit, that's pretty much when I cut ties with NXT altogether. So, at the end of the day, guys, I go with what makes sense. If you're going to give me a content on your product that makes sense, has consistency, and you actually putting effort towards your show, I'm going to tune in, I'm going to speak positively about you, and I'm going to stay around. Whether I'm bored of watching and I get distracted from a tablet, a phone, whatever, I will still continue to watch your product. And I will go ahead and make my time sitting there watching your product no matter what. But if you want to give me content week after week after week with poor creativity and just match after match after match after match, well, then I don't see any reason to talk positive about your product. I'm sorry. And if you're an AEW dick lover and you suck the AEW dick, well, sorry to you. You're blinded. You don't have an open mind. You're closed-minded. You're just focused on one thing and one thing only. I need my AEW. Well, I don't need a specific promotion. I need a promotion that gives a shit. And if you give a shit, I'm going to talk positive about you. If AEW gave a shit, I talk positive about you currently right now while I'm talking positive about WWE. It's all about what the effort's being put in. I do not see the effort in AEW's side of creativity being put in at all. They have a laundry list of great wrestlers. That does not mean it's a good product just because you have great wrestlers. WWE has great wrestlers too. They have the Motor City Machine Guns, DIY. Great tag team title match is going to be taking place at the Royal Rumble. Hard prediction there. I don't know who the fuck's going to win that. I'm leaning towards DIY anyway. A Royal Rumble. Great stuff. I've already told you guys in a couple other videos. I don't know who the fuck's going to win this. Anyone can. That's great content. Unpredictability is great content. With good storylines that surround that reason for it to be unpredictable. That is what makes the fucking show good. That's what AEW used to do. AEW's not doing that anymore. WWE's taking up after where AEW left off. AEW dropped the ball on the creativity, and WWE has picked that ball up and ran with it with Triple H's creativity. Because Triple H knows how to create content. If you don't believe me, go back and watch NXT episodes if you can. You will get great content week after week after week. Whether it's an hour or 2 hours, I don't give a shit. You're going to get good content. Regardless of the fact that they moved over to the USA Network and they were 2 hours, they still delivered effort to give you content and give you stories. They got too sidetracked, though, on AEW and trying to be comparable to them because they were running the same night. That was a huge mistake by Triple H. I will give him that. He deserves that criticism. But other than that, he always delivered stories. He always delivered development towards those pay-per-views that he was doing for the takeovers for NXT. And now he's applying that to the WWE main roster product. It's all Tony Khan has to do. Consistency of story. Can't do that? Well, then I don't know what to tell you. You're not going to get a positive review out of me if you're going to give me piss poor creativity and lack of effort. I'm just sorry, it's not going to work. And the ratings show that. So you can defend AEW all you want. If you want to defend them, that's fine. But I appreciate your love and support. I'm still here watching the show, doing these reviews week after week with you guys. Even if I'm not doing the review, I am giving them my support by watching their product. And yet they continuously keep under-delivering each and every week as me for a viewer. So, I don't know what to tell you guys. If you want positivity, rainbows, and fairy tales, you're not going to get that here. You're going to get my fucking truth. Which is the truth. I'm not telling you a manipulated truth to fit my own narrative. I'm just telling you what I see. There is no stories here. There's bits and pieces of stories, but there's nothing to the level of what we seen when they first started. The first 3 years was good content. The last 2 years, I'd say it's been shit. It is what it is. You can take it whichever way you want. I don't give a shit. You can love me, hate me, whatever you want to say. I want this product to succeed. That's why I'm here talking about it. But I am bored of it. I'm tired of watching it. And I'm starting to feel like my intelligence is being insulted. And I don't like it. I will not say it's as bad as what Vince McMahon did back in 2018 to 2020. I won't say it's that bad. If it was that bad, you can guarantee I wouldn't be doing these fucking reviews. That I can promise you. For damn sure. So, it is what it is. But anyway, guys, I've done enough ranting and raving. Done this for almost probably 40 minutes. I'm done talking here. It really wasn't meant to be this long, but I had to get this off my chest. This is just piss poor effort by Tony Khan and creativity, and something's got to give here, and something's got to change. But anyway, guys, at this time, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you like the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. Thank you guys very much for watching, and have a great night, guys. Bye.